Welcome to this particular session. Here we will be discussing about the green infrastructure solutions again, but it is on the erosion control. And of course, we are dividing it into two parts. Firstly, we will be discussing about the understanding of the process of erosion, and then we will be going to different methods which we can use for solution of this kind of problem. Well, so let us just start with the introduction to this particular topic. In the introduction, I would like to say that flood and erosion, these two are actually linked problem. Sometimes we call it as a two sides of one coin. Well, now for solution of this flood and erosion problem, of course, we need a long-term solution, and that need to be started without further delay. But short-term measures are also essential for immediate relief because people are suffering from this kind of problem. So short-term measures are also therefore equally important. And long-term measures include like integrated river basin planning. Entire river basin we are making some integrated planning, watershed management. These are also long-term planning as a whole if we take in a large scale. Then construction of flood control reservoir in suitable location in the tributaries. Okay, so suppose a main river is facing flood problem, then there are so many tributaries, and then there we can have some cascade reservoir or different kind of reservoir where we can regulate the flow. So that kind of system we need to take up, but taking care of, as I said, that we do not disturb grossly the freshwater ecosystem. That again I am repeating what I told in the previous session. So but then still we need to do this kind of things with proper care. Then flood diversion by parallel canal. Okay, we need to divert the flood. If it is creating problem, can we take it to some other place? So these are some of the long-term measures, but immediate measures are essential to reduce people's suffering due to riverbank erosion. First, riverbank erosion, when the river get eroded, the site get eroded, then a lot of people are residing in those places or cultivations are there, so that we need to protect immediately. Then embankment failure, this is another reason that because rivers are now jacketed by embankment, now if this embankment fail, then there is another major issue. So these are the issues why we need this short-term planning. Now, for going this kind of planning, what I would like to advocate, like the proper diagnosis is extremely important for curing a disease. Okay, just arbitrarily we should not give medicine. In the similar way, proper diagnosis or understanding of the problem is extremely important before taking any measures. That means we need to understand the process of erosion. So this particular talk is dedicated to this particular thing, that how the erosion occur and what is the process of embankment failure, what is the process of bank failure. So we will be discussing on that. Well, now in this case, soil erosion that can occur for different agent, like, well, air can also cause soil erosion, but water can also cause soil erosion, and water is the main agent that cause the soil erosion. So we will be discussing on here, that is the water as an agent for soil erosion. Okay, now there can be different forms of erosion, starting from very basic, when a raindrop falls, when a raindrop drops from the sky. So it is coming from a high height, so from a high distance for a very, and then it is striking the ground. So if the vegetation is not there, then it is striking the soil directly, and then the soil particle will be splashed out. So this is called splash erosion first, and then this eroded soil particle will just get loose in there, and this loose soil will gradually move over the surface with the flowing water. That we call as a sheet erosion and interreel formation there, when the water is moving in a sheet, but then actually on the surface water will never move in a sheet. It will always try to, after moving some distance, it will always try to form some reel kind of things. Okay, I'll show you photographs there. And then when the small reels join, then that we call as a reel erosion. And when reel means water will always follow a path, it will cause erosion there. And then gradually, when in a slope it is moving, when gradually it is moving in a slope, then what will happen? It will enlarge this part by eroding the side and the bottom. So that we call as a gully. So it is becoming a bigger dimension, and then that we call as a gully. And once the gully form, that we call as a gully erosion, then ravine land we call when the gully again extend and it become the area become that like you cannot do cultivation there, you cannot do any much activities there. So that we call as a ravine land. And then another aspect is the channel erosion by channel flow. So when the flow is moving in the channel, so there is covering, that is the bed gets covered. Okay, when the water is flowing, the bed is covered, that is one form. And then bank is eroded. That also will be coming in detail how it is happening, how these things happen. And then another form of erosion is the piping erosion by subsurface flow. When the subsurface water move into the channel, then it can take particle with heat and then it can cause erosion, that is called piping erosion. And then coastal and bank erosion of reservoir and ocean by water action. So sometimes boat is moving or in the sea also even that kind of erosion happen. So these are different forms of erosion, how water can cause the erosion. And with this we are going to just showing some pictures that how the splash erosion occur. This is very typical diagram found in the net, of course this is. And then this is where in one of our experimental site, as you can see, the reels are getting formed here. The reels are getting formed here, and then this initially these are open and some reels are getting formed. Then vegetation has come up to this point. So this part the reels are getting stopped. But where vegetation is not there, this reel are expanding, and now it is becoming proper reel formation. So that way the erosion occur. Then once the reel erosion occur, gradually of course. This is again a picture taken from elsewhere. So these reels when it expand, it can go to this form and it can form a gully. So this is a very large size gully, and then these kind of things if happen, we call it as a ravine land. And then these are happening in the headwater region particularly. And then when it comes to the valley, headwater means the source from where the water starts. And then suppose this is the hill, from there the water starts, and then it is reaching the plain area now. It is in the valley. So then when it reaches the valley, then it will start eroding the side somewhere, and then people use different palisades kind of things or different measures we take. We'll come to the measures later, but this is how the process happens. When it moves to the side, I will explain it in a much, which is some pictorial diagram. Then we try to, when suppose this is one part where the erosion is occurring, and this erosion happen in a very quickly, and then it is eroding about say 100 meter or 200 meter inside the village. It is eroding like this and reaching the village. So there people try to put some different barriers. This is called crib, okay, bamboo crib. So similarly porcupine or different fences people use. So with that people try to stop this. But now when we are coming to this particular point, when we are coming to the river in the plain, of course the principle may be same. The river bank erosion and vegetative practice. What kind of vegetative practice we can use for controlling the river bank erosion? Okay. So in addition to the headwater erosion, as I have told already, the splash erosion, gully erosion and all those things, headwater erosion at source, river bank gets eroded by different mechanism in the valley. So these are first that attack by direct and secondary current due to adverse orientation of the flow directions. So suppose sandbar is forming somewhere, water is directly moving towards the side and it is attacking the bank, that can direct impact of water or because of the kinetic force or dynamic force of the water, velocity, high speed velocity is coming and it is attacking the bank, and then it is eroding the river. So this kind of thing can happen. Also secondary current, sometimes. So when a river is moving, there is always the flow in the lateral direction also towards the bank, and because of that lateral direction flow also the erosion can occur. It will go and strike the bank and then come back. So this kind of secondary current can also cause the erosion. Then wave action due to boat movement. If the boat is moving, then it can create some wave that will strike the bank, and this can create erosion. Then sudden drawdown during flood recession. So if the water table goes down, then the balance get disturbed. I'll show you by pictorial things that is another reason how it can cause failure, and failure due to seepage. So because of these things, the river bank can fail. Now question is that protection measures should be designed in accordance with the cause. This is what is most important. Sometimes we see erosion and we have some ready-made things that we need to apply that, and we end up applying that. But then actually, depending on the cause, the method of application will also be different. So we should be very much aware that why this erosion is happening. That's why we are trying to talk about the process. So protection measures may also fail. This is another reason. If we are taking some protection measures, we should be careful, because protection measures also sometimes fail because of outflanking. Protecting protection measures is also one very important aspect. So these are some of the facts, and then with this, let us move to the process of riverbank erosion. We will go quickly for this, like that riverbank erosion due to direct current. Okay, suppose it is like this, and then what will happen that with this kind of thing, the river is moving in this direction, flow is then hitting there, it will be moving to this direction. Now this flow is directly attacking the bank, and if this kind of attack happen in a slightly meandered form, then this way finally what will happen, that this part is coming and it is getting deposit in the other part of the river, and then you see the curvature is increasing. From here, this part will be eroded, this part will be deposited there. That way the meandering will be formed and the curvature is increasing. So with that, your length of the path is also increasing. That way gradually your speed will reduce, because the length is increasing, slope is reducing, because the actual elevation difference between this point and that point is same. When the length increases, slope reduces. So gradually it will stop, but after causing a lot of devastation, lot of erosion. So this is one direct current. Now when erosion is for this kind of things, then what measures we need to take, that we need to know that if this is the erosion, cause of erosion, then what measures we will have to take. See, depending on the orientation of the flow direction of a river, both direct current and secondary current also. This is what I have shown is the direct, but then there can be secondary current that may attack the river bank and can erode the bank material of the vertical face. So because of the presence of secondary current in the band of the meandering channel or the curved side channel of a braided river. If it is a braided river, then also towards the side there can be a curved channel. Okay, so there also this kind of things can happen. Now in this process, what happens? Generally the lower part of the bank generally gets eroded and the upper part eventually collapse. So if the lower part get eroded, it will be just coming out, and then the upper part remain hanging, then it will be collapsing. Okay, so this is what happened. Now as the cause here is the direct impact of water or the force of water, so what kind of measures, vegetative measures, we'll have to take? This is what is important, that this calls for need of cover material that can protect the bank from repetitive impact of high speed current. So we'll have to have vegetation which can make a cover on the bank, and it will have a cushioning effect. The water is forcing, striking, and then this is absorbing the force, dynamic force. Okay, like in the football game, when the ball comes, then the goalkeeper, I was playing like that so we take the ball little ahead and then we pull it towards earth. So this is giving a cushioning effect, and the dynamic force get reduced, so impact get reduced. So that way we'll have to, similarly the leaves also like that. When a raindrop falls on the leaves, it bends, so that kind of effect is there. So in the bank, if we can give a leaf cover and which has a cushioning effect, that kind of leaf we will have to provide. So vegetation having good spread with flexible leaves and stem can provide a cushioning effect to absorb energy of high speed current and can provide such type of and can prevent such type of failure. So this is one kind of failure. Then if we go to another kind of failure, that is erosion occur during recession of water level itself. So now you can see that is the, suppose water level is here and this part will be remaining, basically it is the erosion prone bank with less permeable saturated soil, say less permeable. So once the water enter there, it will not be able to come out quickly. So this is the situation in the flood time when the water is at high level, water will enter there, all this part will become saturated. But then suddenly when flood goes off, the water level is coming down, but this part of soil, from this part of soil or this part of soil, water is not getting released quickly because the soil is of that kind, is less permeable soil. So this become heavy. Earlier when the water was there, the weight of the soil was also balanced by the weight of the water, because water is giving a pressure from this side. But then when water comes here, then what is happening? This weight is more and there is no resistance from this side. So this part will gradually collapse. So once it collapses, the base is going off, then another collapse can be there. So that way this is another bank erosion process. Now when this is happening, now here you see what kind of things is required. Now this failure is basically the weight of the soil is becoming more. So if this kind of failure happening in a particular place, then we will have to be careful. So this flood happened like this, that we have already explained. Now any additional weight on the bank will add to the disturbing force and will promote slope failure. So this soil are of silty clay, loamy soil kind of things, and it will promote slope failure. Thus, so generally we say the tree we should plant. That is fine. Where we should plant, that is important. What kind of tree? Like the tree is having weight, that too with poor root system. If the root is also poor and then it has weight, so that kind of things will create problem. Like that banana, if we plant on that edge, and then if your slope is very high of the river, river bank is having significant height, on the top if you put that bamboo plant or banana plant there, it will not protect, rather it will work adversely, or it will adversely affect in this situation. So here we will have to place lightweight grass with deep root system like vetiver or some other locally available native species. Different place can have different species like Ipomia or Colmo, some place it is called Bhotra. So Stholopodma is another kind of thing, Kanson. So depending on your locality, different varieties we can get. So that's what is the important we'll have to do. And then in such case we'll have to protect it like this. Then if we talk about erosion due to seepage, that is again another approach, another method. So you can see here, suppose the water level is here. Now water level on the ground, it is like this, and suppose on the county side, on the village side, there is a pond like this, okay? There is a pond like this, or the bill, or the lake, or the wetland is there. Now when water is in the both side, it is equal. In the flood time it has come here, or rainwater got deposited, but then when water level goes down here, this is the river side, this is the erosion prone area. Now when this water goes down, water from this area will start seeping through this one, and then it is gradually moving into the river. And then when it start moving, it will take some soil particle along with this, then this part will remain overhanging, and then this will also gradually collapse. So this kind of problem we can have. And so that in that case, what kind of thing? Here the water is seeping through it, and because of that, what is happening, because of this, what is happening, that your soil material is taken along with that, okay? Soil material is taken along with that. So the vegetation will have to be of the kind for such failure. It is where the water bodies exist in the countryside, then only we can have this kind of failure. So lightweight vegetation having spreading root system. So root system will have to have spreading system so that it can hold the soil, water it is allowing, and the soil it is holding. And along with that, we'll have to use some other devices also. So lightweight vegetation having spreading root system can facilitate safe release of seepage water without carrying the soil particle along with it. So this kind of system we'll have to apply for this kind of failure. Then similarly, in some place we can have embankment failure also. There we need some other method like that. Here embankment failure due to piping. you can see same process, so I'm not explaining it again. This embankment is created here so that the failure is not there, but then this is how the same seepage will occur here, and then this is collapsing, and then the whole embankment which was used for protecting the flow, it is going off, then the water will be coming on this side. Now when there is some weak zone here, or rather presence of rotten roots, suppose it is making some holes here, or termite or rat hole can promote such failure, so we'll have to be careful on that side also. Then another embankment failure due to overtopping. If the water level comes here and it become higher, embankment it is suppose overtopping, water is flowing over this, so the top will be eroded. Now once top it is continuously flowing, then first the top will be gradually eroded, and then it become water will be rushing over it, and then it will be making failure of the whole embankment. So this is another kind of failure. Then sometimes there is a failure due to rain cut. When the rain is falling on it, when the flood is at higher level, but it is same otherwise, but the rain is falling and it is moving towards this and that, so it will start cutting the embankment slowly, like that real erosion form of things. So it will cut the things, and then gradually because of that it will lose its balance and it will fail. Now this is becoming narrower, so it cannot withstand the water load, and that's why it will collapse. So there are different process of failure. It will collapse, and then similarly because of progressive failure, suppose embankment is there, but then it is the soil is going off, and then whatever material you make, this will be failing. So these are different reasons. For that we may have to, suppose if it is because of rain cut, we'll have to give some cover to the embankment. Geotextile cover can be there, some matting can be given. So depending on the reason, we'll have to use different measures. Now safety of the protection measures, sometimes that many a time any kind of protecting measures can be taken away by the outflanking. That means suppose you are protecting this portion, but then outflanking means erosion has started from upstream of that, and then it will take the whole measures away. So we'll have to be very careful in that. So to avoid this, deflecting vegetative spar can be placed at upstream of the protected portion with proper orientation. So this orientation we can decide by modeling also. That I am not covering here, but we can run mathematical model and we can see that what should be the direction of the spars or deflecting spar, small spar maybe, but then how we can deflect the water so that this protection measure is protected first from the upstream. Then anchorage of this vegetation may also become necessary. We simply cannot put vegetation there. We'll have to anchor those things so that they can sustain, they can grow, and then with the growth of the root system only they will be able to protect the slopes. So initial protection is necessary. So for anchorage we may have to use different materials like coirnet, geosynthetic, bamboo palisade, and other meeting system, etc. So that's why combination of all are necessary. So this is what we have tried in this particular talk to understand the process of erosion, particularly the headwater erosion like splash erosion, reel formation, gully erosion. Then when it comes to valley, what kind of direct current effect, piping failure, all this we have tried to see, and we shall be discussing some of those methods. That means by combination of all these coirnet, then vegetation, geosynthetic, and all these different methods are there. Combining all these methods, how we can design our system. Different places of the world, different names are there for all these, but then we'll be using this, we'll be discussing this. So we'll be also presenting some case study in the part 2 of this topic. So thank you very much. Thank you all for your kind attention for this first part of this particular talk. So we'll meet in the second part of this particular topic. Thank you.